I am so excited to talk about today's sponsor, the Hit Tarot deck. It is truly a match made in heaven, and I was so pumped to dive in and talk about this deck as soon as I saw it. Lovingly created and owned by Kristen Calfee, this 78 card deck has all you need for an exercise routine. No extra gear needed, easy to use, and travel sized. Hit Tarot makes it possible to have a fantastic exercise routine at home or anywhere you please. Two things that drew me to this deck in particular were the QR codes that can be accessed from either your iPhone front camera or your QR code reader app for the Android. This enables you to have a clear video reference for each position. And the other thing I love is the creativity of being able to mix up, shuffle the cards, and get a custom routine every time. You know I am a huge fan of the Strength card, which is all about finding harmony through mind, body, and soul. The way I use Hit Tarot is seamlessly integrating it with my daily personal reading for myself. Each card color matches a suit. Green for earth, pentacles, orange for fire, wands, blue for water, cups, purple for air, swords. After I received my day's guidance from my tarot, I then used the elements' influences to design my custom workout routine for the day. Because releasing and cleansing energy through exercise is a great way to give myself self-love, self-care, help me connect to my divine self, and find balance. By using the discount code SUPER20 when checking out by clicking the link in the description, you will receive 20% off your own Hit Tarot deck. Helping aid in building confidence, inspiration, grounding by connecting through your body, I want to thank again Hit Tarot deck again for sponsoring today's video. Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and I'm so excited to say that we are going over July blessings in today's video. As you can see, I've got some fun pool print here. I've got some fun rainbow print. We need some zest, some excitement, some color around July. So we've got that all popping in the cards today. We're looking for anything that's popping up, experiences, presents, indication of what's going on with your career, relationship, whatever is important is going to come through in the cards. So as you can see, we've got 4 groups in front of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you've done that, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group and mark timestamp, but let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at your July blessings by looking at the cards. I'm gonna have some fun creatively and lay these cards out a little bit different. Okay, my spirit guides are already popping off. They have so much to say. Okay, so we can get super specific here. The first thing I will tell you that I would describe as the theme of the month is like not what you anticipate as a blessing, or what you wouldn't necessarily at first define as a good thing, but actually is. I would also describe this month as your cleaning house, so to speak, of people that no longer serve you. You're going to feel great during it. There's some other just conventional sort of blessings coming your way. We're going to get specific in that, but do not be surprised by you living your best life and that affecting people, because that's the thing when we're doing our best. It points out how other people aren't in that exact place in their life to the point that it causes them jealousy and makes them react in a way we wouldn't anticipate, because we think people would just naturally be happy for us, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And that's good, because then it can make room for people that do support you, which is great. So we can see over here in the 3 of Wands, it seems like you are going to be in some communication with people, and at first you're going to be vibing, flowing, texting, sharing things, and then it just seems like all at once it just kind of ends. It depends on how sensitive you are, I'm being told. You might right away kind of notice some things a little bit off, or bizarre with them. You can kind of feel it. But for most of you, it's going to just seem like towards the end, you'll notice something's off. And when I say something off, it's like maybe you feel like they want something from you, or they seem somehow defensive, but nothing's happening. There's just some sense of it feeling off out of nowhere. And this is because in the Three of Wands, this is you representing knowing what you want. This sense of like, yeah, I like totally am confident. I'm totally confident in what I'm passionate about. I'm so excited and I vibe and I'm happy with who I am and what I have to offer the world. And that's being sent out in the universe, and as it's going out there, everybody's kind of getting your rays and signals, so to speak. So this is you initially just excited and happy who you are and projecting your energy out there. But because you're blasting this wonderful positive energy out there so intensely, it's then causing people who kind of can't vibe with that, so to speak, to be blasted away, so to speak. It just doesn't seem like they're really happy with where they're at in life, and they can see by reflection of you doing so well that, and so they were like, okay, I can't be around this. I gotta go figure out what makes me happy, essentially. So when you feel that person go away, I am feeling it's more of a friendship-oriented thing. It's fine. It's not bad. They're not going to sabotage you. It's just, it's making room for people that can get on your level and support that. And it doesn't mean that they can't come back around and be in a better place in order to, not only enjoy their own life, but essentially vibe with you and continue to be on, perpetuate that sort of successful, happy, passionate energy that you'll be exuding this month, which is awesome. And then that's the same thing that goes over here. My spirit guides keep pointing out this imagery. They said, this represents the world that you're creating within, and you're doing a great job of it. This is a combination of emotional balance, but general balance with how you see the world. You seem very attuned with your intuition and intellect, and you're just kind of successfully navigating the world on multiple levels, and you worked really hard for this, and it's going really well in July. And then outside of here is that your world in the world, if that makes sense. And it seems like your inner world that you are creating is shining through a lot stronger than the world around you. So no matter what's happening out there, or people try to project on you or whatever, it just kind of seems not as shiny, not as significant as what's going on over here, if that makes sense. And so this is obviously really awesome and exciting, and says keep doing what you're doing, and you're kind of the beautiful painting. Okay, I'm being told a lot of, sorry, I'm not used to working with a spirit guide. I'm excited to work with a spirit guide, but I'm getting used to all their metaphors. They said you're a beautiful painting amongst the shining stars. You're kind of art within the real living world. Okay, I love that. That's beautiful. But then over here again, this is actually a different sort of relationship. This is them and it just starting, something new starting, and it just not working out. You won't be too disappointed, I'm being told, because you'll barely have gotten to know this person before you can truly be invested. But you're knowing about it now, so that while you're feeling great and it doesn't work out, you don't think, oh, am I doing something wrong? Should I change? Am I giving off the wrong vibes or something like that? No, not at all. I'm being pointed out between the two doves here. It seems like you have a really healthy integration of your of your shadow self in July. And so you really understand the complexities of kind of the parts of ourselves we try to hide, we just will simplify it and say light and dark, so to speak. And you're totally in the flow with that. And they just kind of can't process your sense of you don't have any worries or fears, and you're not afraid to show your vulnerability, and that clearly reflects on them struggling to show their vulnerability, and that's overwhelming for them to experience it. They're not turned off by you showing this side of yourself. It's just they're not ready to show their vulnerable self, and it makes them self-conscious, and they basically pull away naturally, and it doesn't work out because they can't process this but it's fine. You'll be fine. But it's just, you're knowing about this beforehand in order to keep up all this positive flow you've built up and you're enjoying in July in the temperance, and knowing you're just kind of shining so bright, you're in your own positive world. Other people kind of need to hop into it. And if they can't, handle that sort of vibration, they're just naturally, fade away. So keep up. This is all a reflection of you cleaning out house, getting people out of your life that no longer work. But again, it's a really positive take on it, because usually when this sort of energy pops up when I'm reading tarot, it's often like it has to be confrontational, or these people are trying to bring you down in some way. This isn't the case at all. It's very peaceful. So that's good. And there's always an opportunity that these other friends we talked about in the first part will pop up again, and that doesn't necessarily feel like a total complete ending to that specific relationship. This is an ending here because you barely know them, but yeah. So then let's talk about over here. I'm being told that normally the 9 of Cups is a get what you want type of situation, like you get this grand wish, it's exciting, but there's a catch, and I'm being told there's no catch here. You actually will get what you want, but I guess in a way there's a catch, because there's okay, let me explain. So the 7 of Pentacles is you working on your career. It does also talk about you working on yourself, but we're more focused on career, I'm being told, in this particular situation. So with the 7 of Pentacles, this is kind of when you're doing your day-to-day, and there is possibly the thought that runs through your mind of being like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going around about this the right way? Because you haven't been quite shown yet any sort of reward for your results. This is the positive indicator of saying like, yes, you will be given this reward. It's not being shown right now, but you're totally on the right path. Just don't change anything. Keep going. You're doing the right thing. It's going to be a very pleasant, enjoyable experience, but it is going to be the type of experience where like you enjoy yourself, you have a good time at work, you do your thing, you're not really thinking much of it, and then you're more focused on like bettering yourself, interacting socially. So it's just kind of like time flies by really quickly. But we're being shown at the end of the month with the 9 of Cups over here in reverse that you're going to be hearing that you will be receiving this sort of, this could be a promotion, this could be a big opportunity. My spirit guide keeps showing me an opportunity where it's like, yes, you'll make more money, but it's this thing that you've really wanted to do within your career. So it's the excitement of this, like, it could be a project. I'm just going to keep saying the word opportunity just so it covers all the bases, because I'm being shown so many different situations. Currently, I'm having trouble processing what my spirit guides, they keep showing me a painting. They keep pointing at the painting. Okay, I thank you for showing me the painting. I'm not quite understanding. They want me to tell you about the desert in the painting. I'm so sorry if this is vague, but I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now. Okay, I'm seeing an oasis in the desert. Okay, well, that's a really cool metaphor. I love that. But they just keep showing me about some sort of big opportunity that's going to come up in the next month in August, but you're going to be hearing about it at the end of July. So keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. It's going to be a fun month for you. It's going to be filled with a lot of confidence, knowing who you are, people picking up your signals, and just understanding that the ones that fade away will be very peaceful, non-aggressive, and it's just your way of making room for other people in your life that can match your levels. So overall, a really cool, exciting month where you just basically feel yourself. That's how I would describe the month. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed giving it, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at your July blessings by looking at the cards. I am already being told about a dog. Before I talk about the dog, though, I'm actually really excited to say that I have a new spirit guide working with me today. They are super cool, and have actually expressed to me how much they personally love tarot too. So their insight is like, oh, so sorry. Their insight is just so appreciated because they're really pointing out a lot here. I'm hearing a whole rattled off list of specifics, and we love specifics here. So let me just focus and turn that up. So the first thing I'm being told is about a dog, and that this month there will be a specific day where you will build a happy memory with a dog. I'm being told some of you guys will adopt this dog, and for other people this is sort of a dog that's... I'm asking if it's lost. No, it is a stray dog, and it's just kind of this happy little dog you come upon, and they won't have an owner, and you will enjoy your moment with them. For some of you, you might choose to actively do something about it. For some, you won't, but either way, it's this really happy experience with it, and it appears to be very significant in building memories, and will be a time you look back on and reflect on and compare like happy moments too, of like, oh, that was a moment I was happy. This is a happy memory. This is how I define and want to experience happiness, which is super sweet. And we love puppies. So, so the big thing this month that we're going to reflect on is, how do I say this? I want to say this without freaking you out, because there's nothing to be scared of. And in fact, I keep being told that you really, the spirit guide uses the term resistance is futile, but you shouldn't resist essentially, because the less you resist, the easier and more joyful the experience is, and it should be a joyful experience. So those vague, ominous words aside, let's get into specifics. So this month, the whole resistance and the experience is in the Judgment card, and the Star card is an extremely destiny-filled month for you in July. And I can get more specific about that. It's about your place in the world, and we're talking on a spiritual level. It seems like you will be very connected to the universe. You will suddenly start to kind of, it's interesting, it's less about like synchronicities and stuff like that. It's more like you understand that by living life, every experience you have is a sort of metaphor or hidden language that's trying to express itself to you. And it's like you're able to read the language and read how you fit within that language. And so it feels like very exciting that you are able to see and then understand what to do next, and you feel aligned is the best way I can put it. But because you're slipping into something so intense and powerful, there's the first initial experience to run away. Running away and control is a huge thing you will feel tempted to do. I want to point out that you don't have to do that, and we'll get into specifics, but let me just point out what's going on in the cards and then how we can make this month more of a joyous thing, because it is a happy thing. There's not like anything negative going on here except how you might potentially respond. So over here we can see there's a lot of emotional turmoil and feeling overwhelmed, and it just being intense. This is for two different reasons. This is a reaction going on over here in the Seven of Cups in reverse, and this is what's going on in the Emperor card in reverse. The Emperor card in reverse, I'm being told, is about feeling like your foundation is crumbling. You're going to have these moments where things feel magical and a little too coincidental, and you feel like you understand something and you're seeing significance that people aren't. And as you're experiencing this, you're starting to realize maybe the things that you felt were important, or what you kind of was your code book, your rule book, your inner rule book of how you saw things, is not true anymore. And that's kind of an overwhelming experience. But that doesn't mean your world is falling apart. I'm being told this is when you're shown like the problems in your belief system, and therefore you can easily say, well, I can just change my viewpoint, or I can change how I see this, or I want to approach this situation in the future. So again, it doesn't mean anything bad is happening. It just means that coming to certain realizations can be initially overwhelming, but you should see these as more opportunities to change and be like, oh, okay, well, that's okay that I'm growing and and have a different perspective than I did before. Let me figure out what that new perspective is. And the great thing about this happening is your foundation is everything. When we have the Emperor card upright, this is somebody who has a super solid foundation. This implies long-term success, because as they build their house upon it and other structures, they know that as long as they've got that core, that I don't know another word for foundation, everything can be stable, and all depends on that. So this is a great thing that you're building this deep sense of stability in what you want, who you are, and how you see things. How you see things and reacting is like a major theme for you this month, which is amazing. And again, that can seem overwhelming. It doesn't have to be. It's like a positive challenge, and mostly introspective and like journaling. I just want to point out and comfort you that this isn't anything that like an event that's going to happen and shake your world or anything like that. But also it's happening because of the Seven of Cups in reverse. I'm being told love is going to be an interesting theme for you this month, because it's less about who you're with and what ultimately happens with them. It's like, by interacting with them, it's helping you be more connected to the universe and this spirituality we're talking about, this and understanding this language, and seeing how these other romantic partners, and there are multiple, as you see the way they look at things and they react and they express themselves, it's like you're getting all the hidden pieces of the bigger puzzle, if that makes sense. And I can see over here in the Seven of Cups in reverse, by the end of the month, you have a very clear set decision made on romance. But here's the interesting thing. I'm not being told specifically if it is going to be a specific person you're with and you choose to be with. That's okay if you do choose someone. It's not being specific. It's almost like that's not important. It's that at the end of it, you're very clear you're really clear with your intentions of being like, okay, when I want to be with someone, or I choose my ideal partner, or I choose what I want out of a relationship, I know what it is. I know what it is, I know what I want. And I'm being told that for some people who are in couples, the other romantic partners aren't people you necessarily date, but maybe you kind of have like a little crush on them and you're enjoying your time where you're just in each other's presence. You're not doing anything wild, you're not, cheating, you're just aware of them and you enjoy their presence, and it's making you think about your own relationship. So again, it doesn't, I don't see any cheating. I just want to point that out. It's just you thinking about things as a bigger idea. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you can't stay with your current partner, but it makes you think about how you would like to either improve your relationship or deeper value your relationship. But there's a clear indication of these romances and love as a whole deeply affecting your spirituality in a good way. This is going to be positive experiences. I want to point that out. So the Fool card shows us running away from this vibe, and even the Nine of Swords shows us running away, this feeling of like, I want to get away from this, I don't want to be near this. But there's something important to acknowledge here with the Fool card being in reverse. When it's upright, this is somebody who hasn't quite seen the full journey yet. They've just started it. But even though they are at the beginning of this huge spiritual awakening, and where I'm specifically saying spiritual awakening because we talk about what's going on here with you for this month, they believe that everything's going to be okay. They believe that miracles can happen, and because they believe in both of these ideas, then that's what happens. That's the case, essentially. And so initially, it won't be that way because it's overwhelming, you're caught up in it, and you go for your security blanket, which is your worry of, well, what if it isn't? And basically, my spirit guide's asking you to challenge that idea and say, well, what if it does work out okay every time you have that concept in reverse? So again, it's actually going to be a really pleasant, happy time period, but the way you respond is the only thing that can make things uncomfortable. The experiences themselves aren't uncomfortable. They're actually quite magical and amazing and enlightening, and you're going to have a great time experiencing it. But when you get into an area where you feel uncomfortable or you're not quite sure, you kind of have to just jump into the unknown, as well as keep challenging yourself and saying, well, what if it is okay? What if it's okay? What if I allow myself to see that it's going to be okay? What if I allow a happy ending? And that's a huge spiritual theme and kind of understanding you're having this month. So I love that. I did not anticipate that. That's why I'm really excited I'm working with this spirit guide. They are really intense with their details, and I am all about that. So I do want to point out, though, if you have any worries throughout the month and you're like, oh no, Supermoon said don't freak out, and I'm freaking out. I'm being shown either way and comforted that, and I'm being told right now by my spirit guide, that especially with the star card pointing out, this is showing that even when we think we're not on the right path, we are. And you are kind of destiny filled this month, no matter what attitude you take, that you are still moving forward in the right trajectory. And we're talking destiny as in like the bigger picture, so other things line up perfectly and you will be ultimately super happy with the results and feel like, yes, this is who I am, this is what I was meant to do kind of feeling. But that if you don't feel emotionally the best, that doesn't change anything. Sometimes, and this is what my spirit guide was telling me, sometimes that's a part of the journey. But again, I'm letting you know you can be in control emotionally if you would like to change it. And I do want to comfort one last time as a reminder, because these can be kind of intense experiences, intense epiphanies, that nothing bad is going to happen. You're not going to have any uncomfortable experience. Everything's going to be more than okay. It's just how you react is how you're going to feel. So yeah, I'm excited for you. This is pretty amazing. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed receiving it, I loved this, please give this video a like, a comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3, let's look at your July blessings by looking at the cards. I am so excited to say that in today's video, I have a new spirit guide joining me, and they are super intense and they love to get tons of details, and they personally really, really love tarot. They've actually come to me recently at like other points in the day and like told me how much they love tarot. So this is really exciting to have them here while I'm doing it, and they're really teaching me a lot right now, so yay. I just wanted to share that, guys, with you because we're about to get super detailed right now. Okay, so we can actually talk about how this is a chronological order this way. The beginning of the month, unfortunately, there is a friendship ending, but Spirit Guide's correcting me and saying this is not unfortunate because this is like evolutionary. It's like it's run its course. You got all you could from it. There's nothing else left to do but basically leave it behind. We can see that over here. What the hell? Oh my God. I am so sorry. I looked up in the reflection and just saw the craziest lights. Oh my, I can't even process what I just saw. I just saw like a white light leave the like open space and go into the monitor like repeatedly several times. That totally caught me off guard. Okay, back to what we were talking about. I'm so sorry for that distraction. Anyways, this friendship seems like you guys are, the way it's feeling is this budding of heads and ideas and ideals over here in the Five of Wands, and it just seems like they're not going to budge, and it's a good thing that you're not going to budge either. They're not a bad person for it or anything like that. It's just understanding like whatever you guys needed to get out of this friendship is what happened. It occurred. There's a sense of moving away from them. But that's not the main thing I want you to focus on. It's where it all kind of kicks off and leads to. And it leads to a lot of magical stuff. I forgot to mention that before this began, my spirit guide was telling me about a cat. And that a cat is going to be leading you this month. Wait. Oh, that's not true. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to understand them. Okay, never mind. The cat is for me. Never mind. Sorry. Sorry. I'm just processing what they were saying. Anyways, sorry, I have my own personal message I'm receiving within this. Okay, well, anyways, the Four of Wands is where it's basically kicking off and leading to. And you could almost say the thesis of the spread in many ways. So in the Six of Wands. In the Six of Wands in reverse, this shows us have you basically this month finding your inner sort of celebration within yourself. This is important because this is something that gives you comfort, confidence, and not in this month, but in the long term will be very effective for you being somebody who's extremely likable and will continue to have success because you take time to find it within yourself. You find a reason to celebrate whatever you've already accomplished or in the moment what you're accomplishing without needing the support of others. But because you have that attitude and you develop this attitude this month, this is what in the next month and the month after that leads to kind of new friends, new romantic interests, I'm being majorly told about job opportunities popping up. Like everybody's going to want to work with you, so to speak. So that's awesome. And we love that. But we can actually get into specifics of how you pop into this. I'm being told specifically about the combination of colors in the background. It seems like there is this confusion between the throat chakra and the third eye chakra, and things that you sometimes think that you need to speak out from, and the things that you think you are seeing get confused, and you're not quite sure which energy it's coming from and which way to express it. And I'm being told this is both a good thing and a bad thing, because what feels like it's misleading you and it's feeling like it's throwing you in disarray, which is why you need to look inside and then recalibrate and figure out how to celebrate yourself and not get it confused and lost with others, because intuition feels like a more inside internal thing that you're perceiving, and throat chakra is more like how you interact with other people. It seems like that's getting confused, and that's what needs to be sorted out by looking within. It's something that it's a positive thing to hybrid within yourself. It's great to confuse when you're speaking from your own personal experience and when you feel like you're connected to something else, whether that be the universe, your spirit guides, the natural flow of everything, and you're kind of not quite sure where your information or where it's coming from, you or your connection, and that's a great thing. And you want that healthy mix and hybrid because they're meant to be working together, is what I'm basically being told. But then I'm being told over here about the clouds, which is really interesting because of the relationship going on here. And this is kind of what's beautifully leading from one thing to the next. So the Two of Wands shows us how you've kind of had some plans. You're like thinking about what you want. You're like, okay, this is what I would like in the long term. This is what I'm figuring out. What can I do next to make this happen? It feels like you're not quite there yet, like you're not in the exact job that you want, the exact position you want, but you know where you would like to go, and you've been thinking about it and planning it. But we're kind of getting a clue and an indicator that you've been thinking and planning about it for too long. The clouds are significant because my spirit guide says that in this picture, there's no clouds, and in this one, there is. And that the clouds, when there's more clouds, there's more opportunity to take on like shapes and then basically be told messages from the universe. But think of it as this does directly talk about the concept of like the universe and spirituality and intuition. We're talking about like mystical stuff that you can receive from the universe. But you can also take it as a metaphor of saying like there's all these opportunities around you, things you can see, that you could perceive, that you could interact with. And when you're in that planning stage, you're kind of so focused on the plan, you're not seeing all the clouds, and you're not even allowing clouds in, and these messages and these opportunities to see messages are just not going to come your way. But when what you're kind of basically being forced to by, the universe interfering, so to speak. This is definitely a universe interfering sort of month, both with the friendship kind of thing and towards the end, is what then brings in the clouds. The Four of Swords is when you feel like you need to take a break. And you should have taken a break a while ago. We often view this as the napping card and literally taking, some time to sleep and catch up on this. And it's been much needed, as we talked about over here in the Two of Wands upright, of you planning for too long. And when you're sleeping and you're relaxing, and we're saying sleeping metaphorically, because what you're sleeping on is social interaction. It's like you have these friends, you're pulling away, friends specifically, and you're pulling away from them. Yes, they're in the long term, you're going to have likability, lots of socialness here, but again, pulling away. We're going to more of an isolated state, but not in any other way, but trying to figure out yourself and self-analytical, like looking over stuff. But I'm so sorry. I'm trying to insert too much too soon. So let me skip over here and then we'll come back to this so it makes more sense. The Hermit card is where you're ultimately leading by the end of the month. This is a lot of walking in nature alone, a lot of understanding who you are by taking some time to just be quiet. This is journaling. This is enjoying your own company intensely and figuring out who you are, what you want, and having a lot of self-discovery. This is all voluntary, and it's really beautiful and fun, and it really shines the light into the next month, into August, being something where you really better are able to see the messages inside. You more deeply understand what you want and how to get there because of this self-reflection. So where you're headed is great, and you're going to have a great time going there, and you're going to naturally pick it because you're just kind of vibing alone time more, essentially. The way this happens is from the Star card, some unexpected events. We know some of those unexpected events are from the friendship ending, but this feels more like the universe kind of throwing things in your way, but not as in full-on obstacles or something uncomfortable. It's more of let's imagine you're walking down a trail and you think you're going to go down the, obvious trail everyone else does. And then suddenly a beautiful butterfly catches your eye, and suddenly you look over and there's another trail, maybe not as, forged out as clearly because not a lot of people go down it, but a bunch of animals do. And you just kind of decide to go down there unexpectedly. See how that was not unpleasant, but was the universe interfering and being go down this path. There's something here I want you to see. So it's very much that sort of vibe and idea, which we love that. Unexpected events in a really lighthearted, non-intense way. I just want to put that out there because when you say unexpected events, sometimes people are like, wait, what does that mean? This is very gentle, very small. It's so small, you might not any other time in your life have noticed it. In this case, you will notice it and follow it, which is great. And these unexpected events and desire to be alone is popping up because you've needed a break for some time. This break will enable you to see the clouds, so to speak, be able to have more of them in your life because you're more open to it. And these clouds can take many different shapes and symbols and messages and opportunities, and basically create a very bountiful array of things to evaluate and experience and enjoy, which is all a part of that whole self-discovery and figuring some stuff out by being more alone. So we love that. That's awesome. I love all these messages. Interesting. My spirit guide says the cat thing that I was kind of not quite sure if it was for you. It's definitely for me, but I'm not quite sure if it's for you. She said I should share it just so I keep wondering if I should share it. So she's just share it. So what I wanted to say was when she was talking about the cat thing, basically it was about that a cat is going to lead you someplace that you're going to want to go. But this cat can take both a actual cat presence or a picture of a cat. You'll notice a picture of a cat and then you'll want to follow that cat. I am being shown this cat would be more taking on the colors of black, gray, or white. And we're talking solid colors, so all that one color. So yeah, it's something to think of and look at and try it for yourself and see if that particular message resonates with you when the moment arises, if it rises. Because again, I'm not quite sure on that specific one if that one's for you too. But anyways, no harm in sharing. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number number 4, let's look at your July blessings by looking at the cards. I am so excited to say that today I have a new spirit guide hanging out with us today, and they are so fantastic. I'm so excited they're here because they are very intense. They have super potent energy, and they absolutely love tarot. They've actually come to me at other times and like told me how much they love tarot, and they I just really like them. I just really vibe with them. And so they're here for this session. I'm so excited, and they're giving me tons of details and knowledge, and I'm all about it, and I just really love their presence. So I'm so excited to get into details over here with you guys, and I just wanted to tell you about that because I know how much you guys love this stuff as much as I do. The first thing I want to point out that they're telling me about is about a ball bouncing. And they said for some of you it will be a basketball, for some of you it will just be kind of like a bouncy ball. But the thing that's really interesting here is I'm like asking, well, what does that mean? Is that some sort of metaphor, are you telling me? And they're saying, no, this is going to be sort of a sign that as the ball is bouncing, and I'm being shown sort of a hypnotic feeling, like you're looking at it and suddenly you have intense focus and you're watching it go up and down. It's sort of like your brain's indicator or clue that this reading resonates with you in that moment, and it's this feeling of like, oh, this is real, or oh, I'm here. It's this oh feeling from seeing this clue and indicator. So there's your clue or indicator. So I want to talk about this awesome, really positive stuff going on here. But before we do, you can't have the light without the dark, which is really interesting. My spirit guide just made me say that, or like, they didn't make me, I like channeled them, you know what I mean? Over here, because this stuff is really important to acknowledge in order to talk about all the good stuff. This is not what's going to happen. This is what's been happening for you in the past, and it's important to go over it because so we can talk about what's leaving, which is great. So this is something that's important to acknowledge that you put upon yourself, and that is a huge thing to acknowledge. You need to acknowledge that in order for it to go away. So we have in the Seven of Wands in reverse a sense of people taking advantage of you, feeling like they could, feeling like if they wanted to tell you to do something, they could get away with it. Now, it doesn't mean that's actually happening, but it's this doormat sort of energy you wish you didn't exude. You wish you didn't feel people picked up from you. It's not a super fun, exciting feeling. Here, let me just turn on the brightness on this a little more. And so that is what causes the Nine of Swords in reverse. So over here we have a sort of doormat energy. Often it can also represent this feeling of feeling like burnt out. You're tired of feeling defensive. It's exhausting. And then over here, this is where the feelings are really overwhelmed. And it just feels like you're lying down and taking it. You're taking on energy that and this is something important that my spirit guide wants to point out. They said all of these energies are happening at once, but it's what we tune into and choose to receive, which becomes the dominant energy. But it doesn't mean the other energies aren't there and you can't tune into them at any given time. You've just chosen this energy to kind of really take you. And that's an important thing I'm being shown. It's taken you. It's taken on a lot of you. And I'm so sorry that you've experienced that. That is not fun, and that is a very... it feels like it's taking you down quite a notch. And so I'm excited for you that this is not going to be the case anymore. Something my spirit guide keeps heavily pointing at are these. They keep pointing to these two and how significant it is. And I absolutely love this for you. Both of these cards talk about this ending, this huge end of tension and pain. Over here with the Ten of Wands, in reverse, this is like stress finally being unloaded from you. You're finally acknowledging, oh, I'm the one carrying the wands. I don't want to carry them anymore. I'm tired of it, and dropping them and getting rid of it. It can also relate to when we talk about feeling like you can be taken advantage of realizing you're giving that sort of work and responsibility back to the other people. You're like, I don't want it anymore. I do want to point out my spirit guide keeps heavily telling me that no one was really taking advantage of you to begin with. Unfortunately, you saw yourself that way and kind of allowed it to be the narrative in your head and allowed it to, like, gave the opportunity to other people. And now that you're kind of taking ownership of that and awareness, you're like, I don't want it anymore. Take it back. I'm done. This is not my problem anymore. So it's a very sense of freeing, no longer responsibilities in front of you, just feeling relaxed, happy, almost in the sense of like, wow, I've got a whole free slate in front of me. Over here with the 10 of Swords in reverse, it also talks about that idea of being free of this mindset that's bogged you down for so long. So you're feeling free of tension and you're feeling free in your mind because you've finally made a decision and you're like, okay, this way of approaching things isn't working for me anymore. I'm freeing myself of that. That's the key thing, is you taking the ownership of that you're doing it to yourself, as well as that you get to choose to free yourself, which we love that. Oh, I didn't know I have the air conditioner on. Sorry about that. So it's really a beautiful, lighthearted, but very empowering sort of feeling. And suddenly it felt like you had your whole future and existence written out in front of you. And now it's open and you can breathe and you love not exactly knowing what's going to happen next, so to speak, which is super beautiful. But we can get a little more specific, which I absolutely love. Most of this kicks off in the beginning of the month. There appears to be some sort of party. This could be a graduation party. This could be a barbecue. Maybe it's a really fun night with a friend or something like that. But it seems to activate something in your brain of like an epiphany. It's like sometimes my spirit guide told me that sometimes we need to receive some sort of like awareness, accomplishment, metaphorically or whatever, like a flag, a pinpoint to be like, okay, that time in my life is now over. I now can see that this is the end. We're done. And even though it's a celebration for other stuff and it's just kind of an everyday celebration with friends or family or something like that, it's this feeling of it metaphorically for you feels like it's kicking off a more positive mindset for the month that we talked about that you're letting go of. And then it opens up what's going on in the Ace of Wands, which I love. It seems like during this party, you start to think about what you really want to do and what you really are passionate about. It doesn't seem like you have a clear explanation of what it is. Maybe you think you do, and then as the month goes on, you're like, well, I don't know if that's exactly what I do, but you're questioning it. And it's this feeling of a beginning. Now, the beginning quite doesn't start in this month. It's like, not this is the month that you then start the new hobby, start the new joy, start the new perspective, but you're sort of experimenting and looking within and asking and trying different things out, and you're right on that cusp of beginning it. Once you figure out what it is, you can then begin that journey, but I'm being told there's no rush. Like, enjoy the explorative side of all of this, which we love. So that explorative side and that new passion is a huge thing that ignites all of this other stuff. It's like as that kind of feels like it takes more importance, the more it pushes out the sword, the more it helps you release the wands and stuff like that. So get excited. You're going to feel like a totally different person after this. It's interesting, though. I do want to make note of something that I'm noticing myself, but my spirit guides being like, good, yes, is I noticed you didn't have the Death card. And this sort of intense, powerful change of energy you think would bring about the Death card. That card represents rebirth, huge metamorphosis. And I think it's interesting it didn't pop up. It's almost implies that When we feel more free and lighthearted compared to the contrast of the overwhelming experience and emotions we have over here, while we might feel like two different people, we are in fact the same person. This is kind of a part of the whole journey. You need both in order to be yourself, but you've always been yourself even when you were not feeling your best, and you are going to be just as much yourself when you feel a whole lot better. So that's really beautiful. I mean, metamorphoses are always welcomed, but I think it's kind of gorgeous to say that even when you felt your worst, you were still totally yourself. This is just you figuring some stuff out. You never lost yourself, even when it felt like that at times. You just were focusing on different energies. But even by choosing to focus things, you had a choice. It was still you. There's an empowerment to knowing that you were never not yourself. So I love that. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I did, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!